Wait, he's never played ULTRAKILL before? Was likely your first thought upon seeing this video in your subscription feed. Yes, believe it or not, I hadn't played ULTRAKILL before this video. Now before you ULTRAKILL fans slide jump over to my house and shotgun punch me to death, let me be clear that my initial decision to hold off wasn't personal. The two deadly words that doom even the most promising games kept me away from it. Early access. Which, fun fact, this game has been in for 6 years. I generally avoid single-player early access games because I'd rather experience the game in a completed state. You only get one first impression, as the old saying goes, and I'd rather not have my first experience with a single-player game be tainted by glitches, broken mechanics, and a fragmented story. I'm making an exception with ULTRAKILL because, from what I've read, it's mostly complete. Also, it's published by New Blood, who have a good track record. And furthermore, I'm not too worried about ruining the story for this game because, come on, it's a boomer shooter. It's not Claire Obscure, which incidentally, I also haven't played. But anyway, the premise. You're a robot, your name is V1, and you're going through hell, all 9 circles, Dante's Inferno style. Your HUD informs you, quite bluntly, that... Hey you.
What?
You think you can read this for me? My snarky voice won't do it justice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine, give me that. Mankind is dead. Blood is fuel. Hell is full.
Badass. So after playing through all the available levels in ULTRAKILL, I now understand why some people feel that Doom the Dark Ages is too slow. It's not that I agree with them, per se, but I at least understand where they're coming from now. If this is the only FPS game you've played these past few years, then sure, everything else will seem slow by comparison. That's my way of saying that ULTRAKILL's gameplay is psychotically fast. So fast, in fact, that it makes Doom Eternal feel slow and antiquated. Actually, scratch that. ULTRAKILL is just psychotic in general. This is the type of game where you can slide upstairs. This is the type of game where you heal by bathing yourself in blood. This is the type of game where you can punch the pellets from your shotgun as they're leaving the barrel to make them go faster. This is the type of game where you can barely see what the fuck is happening on screen if you're playing it correctly. We academics call this the Risk of Rain 2 effect. Forget Severed Steel, this is the true sensory overload the game. It also has a DMC-style grading system. You're rewarded higher grades for cycling through weapons, comboing your movement, weapons, and abilities together. Oh yeah, and in typical DMC fashion, you'll be given a big fat D rank if you die more than a handful of times and take more than 3 minutes to complete a level. But really, I wouldn't let that discourage you. Just focus on mastering the gameplay loop on your first run. Plus, the levels are meant to be played multiple times. They're ultra-linear, consisting mainly of arenas and hallways punctuated by the occasional key hunt. They can usually be completed in under 10 minutes, except Disintegration Loop, but we'll get to that. ULTRAKILL is extremely overwhelming at first because you have an obscene number of weapons and mechanics at your disposal. You have a dodge, a slide, a ground pound, a grappling hook, a parry, an arm that functions like a shotgun. Yeah, and did I mention that every weapon has 3 abilities you can cycle through? Granted, you need to unlock and equip them first, but there's always the temptation to equip everything at once. I did, and here's my advice. Don't do that. Find 2 or 3 weapons you like and stick with them for a bit. Master them first and then expand your arsenal. Plus, it'll just make it easier to master the beginner combos. For example, you can toss coins with the starting pistol. When you shoot them, the bullet reflects off the coin or coins and does more damage, potentially killing multiple enemies at once. And when you combo the coin toss with the railgun, which is your BFG equivalent in this game, well, I think you can put 2 and 2 together there. Now, my one single solitary complaint about ULTRAKILL has to do with the difficulty. Yeah, I know, get good, mad 'cause bad, or whatever you kids say. For the record, I'm not some IGN reviewer who's deathly afraid of the concept of difficulty, alright? I like difficult games. I like smashing my head against a wall for hours on end, whether that be in a shooter or a puzzle game. But what I don't like are sudden, jarring spikes in difficulty. And there's a part in ULTRAKILL where the difficulty curve turns into a difficulty El Capitan, and that's with the level Disintegration Loop. I don't know whether to applaud this level for its ambition or denounce it for being an exercise in excess. It's the longest level in the game, and boy howdy do you feel every minute of it. There's a million arenas, obnoxious environmental traps, an extremely difficult boss fight, and then, because the game has it out for you personally, you have to fight that same boss again in the middle of an arena. Oh, and did I mention the shifting gravity, or the part where the game tricks you into thinking you beat the level? Now, I do think there are some interesting concepts here that could easily be turned into 2 or 3 standalone levels, but combined together, they form this painfully drawn-out monstrosity that obliterates the game's difficulty curve and messes with the pacing. It's just too much, in my opinion. It's my least favorite part in what is otherwise my favorite game I've played this year, and that's what you should take away from this review. ULTRAKILL's psychotic game design is not for everyone, but it definitely appeals to me and players with my sensibilities. It's a game that pushes your FPS skills to the limit, though I'll confess, I can't play it for more than an hour because it's too intense. My hands were shaking and my heart was racing after every session. Likewise, my notes got more deranged the more I played. I started with notes like, it's pretty difficult, but I'm having fun, which eventually devolved into, my hands are shaking, my brain is mush, my blood says kill. So in summary, ULTRAKILL is so fun that it gave me brain damage.
Machine, I'm going to post cringe in general!